Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to 1minutetennis.com. In today's session, I want to talk to you about how to take the ball on the rise. And I want to show you how by understanding the angle of deflection, you can actually take the ball earlier and control it with real power, and you won't get more mistakes, even though you're taking the ball aggressive early and trying to take control of the court. Now, the angle of deflection is the angle that the ball will take naturally as it comes into contact with the racket and then out of contact with the racket. And there are two factors that determine this, and most coaches and players only focus on one of them, and that is the swing path of the racket. So if I open the racket here, then clearly I'm going to send the ball up, so my only chance of getting the ball in play is with a lob. If I close the racket to this degree, then it's going to be very difficult to get the ball over the net, because with the racket close to this degree, then the ball is going to go down. Even if I swing violently upwards, this extreme closed position is going to really affect the flight of the ball because the angle of deflection is down. So we want to be somewhere between the two. We don't really want an open racket, but we want a neutral racket or a closed racket, depending on the type of swing path. If we're totally flat, then a neutral racket can manage. But if we're going to hit topspin, then we need a slightly closed racket face. But that's only working on the angle of the racket and the swing path of the racket. Let's have a look now at how the trajectory of the ball affects the angle of deflection, and therefore how you can play the ball on the rise. Because when you play the ball on the rise, the ball is on the rise. When you play the ball on the way down, the ball is on the way down. So we have two vastly different angles that the ball is approaching when it comes into contact with the racket. So to make an example of this, I'm just going to use a little practice wall here. First of all, I send the ball high and the ball goes down. So I need to close the racket slightly to actually create a meaningful stroke. So high, and the racket was slightly closed. So high, and the racket was slightly closed. But now I'm going to let the ball hit the racket when it's on the way up. And the ball went up. When the ball is on the way down, then the ball goes down. When the ball is on the way up, then the ball goes up. So if I take the ball on the rise, then I can swing with a neutral racket and the ball will still go up. If I take the ball on the way down, I do have to close the racket face. What many players do is play the same stroke and just take it early and think they'll get the same result. But then the ball is going to be very, very close to the net, because the angle of deflection and the swing path are both contributing to keeping the ball low. If I play with the racket in neutral when I play the ball on the rise, then the angle of deflection will send the ball over the net. The ball will actually lift itself over the net. So now I'm going to play the ball on the way down, and I close my racket face, and I have to be the one who's lifting the ball. I close, and I have to lift the ball. I close, and I have to lift the ball. So now I've moved closer, and I take the ball on the rise, and the ball will lift itself. Understanding the angle of deflection is essential for you to be able to take the ball early, aggressively, without too many errors. Because now you can maybe see that if you just play the same stroke, but play the ball on the rise, then you're contributing to errors in the net. Even if you look at the truly great players, players like Nadal, like Iga Swiatek, they don't take the ball too early on the forehand. It wasn't easy for them. It's not easy for Swiatek. One of the reasons why she prefers playing on clay to hard courts and grass. Grass, you need to take the ball early, and she has real problems with it because of this very extreme grip. Makes it hard for her to go into a neutral racket position. So make sure that you understand the angle of deflection and use the angle of deflection. Flatten out your swing when it's on the rise. The closer you are to the bounce of the ball, the more you should think of a neutral racket angle, and the ball will fly off the racket with speed and penetration, but you won't make more errors playing early. Check out our forehand solution course. We've broken the forehand down into 7 essential component parts and then made 7 elements, and every element of the course has detailed, precise and clear video lessons such as this, but also then clear explanations of the stroke going into the depth of the science and the biomechanics, and then super clear illustrations. So you'll be able to see the solutions, read the solutions, view the solutions, and apply the solutions. I hope this makes sense because playing the ball early is an essential part of tennis. And so by understanding the angle of deflection, you can have aggressive, early, and yet consistent ground strokes. Thanks for watching and see you next time for more unique tennis lessons that really work.